Welcome to the Happiness Minute. Our episode today is called Love Alchemy, Harnessing Feng Shui for Romance. In this episode, we will discuss Feng Shui and romantic relationships. So whether you're single, seeking love, or looking to reignite the spark in your relationship, this episode offers tips and insights into using Feng Shui to transform your romantic life. And our guest today is Suzanne Harper. Suzanne has many years of experience using Feng Shui. She offers clients a bespoke service. She uses an integrated approach using the form and compass school Feng Shui with flying star methods, including dowsing for geopathic stress and vortex earth energies. Hi everyone, I'm Anna and we're back in the Happiness Minute. And I've got a very special guest today. Her name is Suzanne. Hi Suzanne, how are you?
Hi, Anna.
Suzanne will be talking to us about Feng Shui and romance. So before anything else, Suzanne, can you tell us more about what you do?
Thank you, Anna. I'm a Feng Shui consultant. I have about 30 years experience. I've helped lots of people who have been challenged romantically, whether it's been that they are splitting up with their partner, whether it's been that they are looking for love, or whether they're interested in someone who doesn't seem to respond. So I've had all sorts of different scenarios. So I hope we'll be talking about them, and I'll make some practical suggestions.
Oh, cool. So interesting. So, Suzanne, before anything else, I think a lot of our listeners and our viewers would want to know what Feng Shui is. So, what is Feng Shui, Suzanne?
Okay, so Feng Shui is an Eastern art that used to be reserved for emperors. The Feng Shui man or
Mm.
woman often wasn't allowed outside the palace because the knowledge was considered so powerful that the emperor didn't want the common people to know. So it's about how you organize your space around you, also how you time things to
Mhm.
increase your luck. Now, you can increase your luck in all areas of your life. Most people are usually interested in love and money. These are the two most
Yeah.
common reasons people ask. You can use, I'm not going to ask you to move your front door. People get very worried that they're going to be asked to do extremely expensive things. I'm a very practical woman. Um, I do know people have budgets, and I can usually suggest things that are well within budget for you to make really effective cures.
Yeah. Because I think, like, for me, I've used Feng Shui in terms of business. So, some of the business locations, so for example, the office that we are in London as well, is because of the Feng Shui of that. Um, so, yeah, I do use Feng Shui, but on the business side of things. But what I'm actually interested about is how does Feng Shui influence romantic relationships? Because I know a lot of my friends, who are single, would want to know about them a bit more.
Okay, so feng shui is considered to influence what's called your earth luck. There are, according to the Chinese, you have three different kinds of luck. You have heaven luck, which you're born with, karma, which you make as you go about your life and do things. It's a law of cause and effect. And then you have earth luck, which is to do with where you are. It's about being in the right place at the right time. So it's a third, 33.3% of your luck. Now, if you
Mhm.
think about romantic relationships, these are very, very earthly. This is
Mhm.
about what's happening here on the earth plane. It's not about your spiritual relationship. It's not about your past lives, your future lives, or whatever else you happen to be doing. It's about the here and now. So that's why it's relevant to romance, because romance is, in this lifetime, very much the earth plane and very much here and now. If you think how this influences you, it will influence possibly, if you get together with your honey, where you live, how much you have to spend, and having children. Very, very earthly things.
Mm. So, because I know like a lot of people do use feng shui as well in terms of the relationships. So I think they normally use it when they're experiencing difficulties in their life, in their relationship. So, what will be the signs that, like based on your experience, what are the signs that means that your relationship is going nowhere or having difficulties?
Well, there are basically four signs, certainly for a married couple. And I think if you're dating someone, these would be big, big red flags, any one of them. And they are contempt,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
criticism,
Hmm.
defensiveness. If you constantly feel you have to defend what you're doing, and stonewalling. What is stonewalling? Stonewalling is when your partner refuses to talk to you about something. So if you say, sweetheart, I'd really like to have a discussion, this isn't working for me, and they keep avoiding the conversation, they're stonewalling you.
Ah,
And this
okay.
is definitely a red flag. So those are the four main things to look out for. If they're there, and you haven't already committed to be with this person, I would think very carefully about whether you take it any further. And if you're in a relationship and that is going on, I would strongly suggest that you have counseling or some kind of help, as well as doing the feng shui cures, to change these sort of situations
Mm.
around.
So you just mentioned now feng shui cure. So what are some of these feng shui remedies for resolve? Is there anything that resolves conflicts and improve harmony?
Well, certainly to improve harmony. Let me give you a real life example,
Okay,
which is really
that'd be
funny.
interesting.
And this was not between a married couple. This was between the couple were okay, but what was going on? He was having a war with his daughter over her inheritance. When I walked into their home, on either side, there was a window on either side of the front door. And there, sitting facing each other, were two cannons. Can you imagine the symbolism of that? This is war, and that's what it was. So there are things around you that can be to do with warfare. If you have pictures of animals fighting, people fighting, that's not helping you. That's going into your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind only deals with 9 things at once. All the rest is still going in, but it's going in unconsciously. So you wouldn't want that around you. The other thing that's very difficult for a married couple is to have the sink directly opposite the kitchen. So
Ah,
opposite the cooker. So if you got on well and then you had a kitchen upgrade and you now have a sink opposite the cooker, please contact me because you need to do things to mitigate that formation. That's
so
fire and water, and
so
it's
the
a
okay, so the sink is like parallel, parallel to the
not parallel, it's opposite. So
opposite.
the
Okay.
sink directly opposite the cooker. You often find this when you have island formations,
Oh
which
yes,
are
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
unfortunately very popular, and people put things on the island. If you just have the island as a place where you eat and you socialize,
Chop
it's
or
fine.
prepare food. Yeah.
Or prepare, yes. But if you have either the hob or the cooker, the oven on the island, almost anywhere
Mm.
you put it in the kitchen, it will be opposite the sink because islands usually are put in the middle.
Yeah, they put
So
in the
it's in
middle.
the center. Yes. So it's unfortunately, those are formations that if I see a couple's moved in there, you're saying, my God, Suzanne, what do I do about this? It's the element you want to put between them is the element of wood. So if you've got a wooden floor between them, it may not be too bad. But there is another cure for this, which I have suggested people use, and I don't see this written about in the book. So if you're listening to this,
Ah,
this is your
oh,
bonus
interesting.
here. Um, one of the things that will really help is if you make sure that the two of you are never in the kitchen together. So he cooks and you stay outside, or you
Okay.
cook and he stays outside. You wash up, he stays away. He washes up, you stay away. You do not go in for chats in the kitchen, and you don't cook together. Now, I know for a lot of couples, they like to cook together. So if
Yeah,
you
they
like
do.
to cook together, then you really need to change this formation.
Yeah.
It's important, but that's one of the ways around it. Without spending any money, you just make sure if you're in there, you're there on your own. If he's in there, he's there on his own.
That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. So again, that's there's a lot of things as well, because I think the kitchen is, for example, it makes a homey feel, I guess. So that's why
Yeah.
it's connected to the relationship side of things. Am I correct in
Well,
saying
it
that?
is symbolism. The thing
Yeah.
is, the oven and the hob symbolizes fire, which is usually considered to be masculine. And the sink and the water symbolizes female, which is considered to be water. In any couple, even if they're same sex couples, there will be one that takes the more yang role, outgoing, doing
Mm.
things, and one that takes a more yin role, which is more to do with nurturing, taking care of. So even in same sex couples, this applies.
I see. So does feng shui also help in terms of communication? Because this one would be more of communication, and I guess it does help. And then also, does it also help in intimacy in relationships? So you're getting closer to each other more, I would say.
It does, because it sets up a harmony. Basically, one of the things you want to do if you're setting up harmony in your home is you want some pictures around you of couples, and
Mm,
preferably loving couples, because it sets the stage. Sometimes married couples will have pictures up of their wedding, which is nice. It reminds them of a very good time. Often having holiday pictures up, this is
yes, holiday
great.
pictures. Mm.
Yes. And, most people can put pictures up with fridge magnets on the fridge. Even if you don't want to have a notice board where you post your pictures, fridge magnets will help you just put up a few holiday snaps of you having a good time. Things that remind you of things that are pleasant are really, really important. Also, the other thing that's absolutely great, plants and flowers. Flowers
Mm,
are
yeah.
fifth dimensional energy. So, absolutely wonderful. The other thing for feng shui we like are crystals, especially rose quartz. Now, we've had this
Ooh, yes.
discussion before,
Yes.
Anna, and I'm going to show you the size of rock.
Yeah,
The
size matters.
size matters, right? Little tiny, it's all
That's
very
a
well.
massive,
Yes, having little tiny crystals is nice, but they are not a feng shui cure. You need, if we're
massive
talking
like that.
rock, get a rock.
Like a
And what I
like a
usually
proper rock.
get a proper rock, right? What I usually say to people is you can buy these wholesale. Don't buy them trade. Go online, find a wholesaler, buy wholesale. You'll get a deal. You'll be very happy about it, and they're very pretty. It doesn't have to be rose quartz. For men, it could be tiger's eye. There are all sorts of other ones. Malachite is a lovely one for married
Yes.
couples, especially. It's, if you don't know what it looks like, it's a black stone with green flashes through it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find ones that are more black, and sometimes ones that are more green, but that's a very popular one as well for longevity in romance.
I see.
We
I
we
see.
like we want to find this lovely person and then stay with them. I think that's the idea.
That's the idea. Well, you mentioned finding the right person. So if we're going to talk about singles, how does feng shui help singles attract partners? Because I think a lot of people do ask this when they go into a feng shui practitioner.
So there are three different areas that relate to romance. So we've got, and I'm assuming when we talk romance, we're talking people want a soulmate, they want a
Yeah.
long-term partner. They're not looking for
Yeah.
just someone casual. So you look, first of all, you stand in the center of your home and you find the southwest sector. That will be a kind of pie shape from the center. That is one of
Southwest.
the
Okay.
main areas for romance. Also, depending on your year of birth, you will have a direction called the yin yin, which is to do with relationships and to do with love. So this is where you want to put your crystals and your rose quartz, your other nice rocks and flowers, basically to enhance that area. Now, the other thing that very frequently happens, I tell you this because people come to me when things haven't worked out and they've gone wrong, or there's something really major that needs doing. If you have a toilet in the southwest of
Yeah,
your
that's
house,
right. What happens if it's a toilet?
what do I do? Right.
Yeah.
And one of my clients did this. She's now married and she has
Oh,
a
nice.
lovely little boy. So, one of the things that's important is that lots of plants and flowers. I would go Kew Gardens, basically. I'd go slightly overboard with that. The other thing you want is you want some couple artwork. Now, this particular lady got a small statue about that big of an actual couple embracing, a man and a woman. And that was very nice. She put it in there in the window. That was lovely. The other thing is you keep the bathroom door shut. And what you can do on the outside of the bathroom door, at the throat level of the tallest person in the house, that's here, you put a little convex mirror. Now, why do you do that? And why do you do that at throat level? Okay, practically, if you put it lower down, say opposite your solar plexus, you'll find the people in the house start being nauseous because it's reflecting the energies of the toilet back to the solar plexus chakra. And that is to do with digestion. If you do it higher up, it doesn't affect those organs. You're deflecting the energy of the bathroom, which is basically water going down like that. You're trying to stop that. I would also go for a very large crystal in the bathroom if you
Oh,
happen
okay.
to have a toilet in the southwest, which is
Southwest, yeah. Yeah.
it's just one of those unfortunate ones, or in your yin yin direction, in
So
which
the
case
crystal to use then, what crystal to put in then for the
one
toilet?
that you
Any.
like. If it's in the toilet, it doesn't have to be rose quartz. It could be rocks, it could be ceramics, it could be heavy pottery. All of these
Ah, okay.
things, earth controls water. So
I see.
that would be what you would go for. The other thing that people sometimes have is they have missing space. So let's say you stand at your front door. You'll probably say,
Mhm.
what is missing space? Okay. So you stand at your front door, looking into the whole house or the whole flat. If the back right-hand corner is missing, or you have an extension out on the left-hand side, you will almost automatically have missing space on the right. That space is a relationship space. I have actually known of one architect. He spent 50 grand making a beautiful extension in the back left-hand side of his house, and he got divorced 3 months later. Doesn't help. What you're doing is you're creating a void, and you don't want to be doing that. There are ways around it. If you're lucky enough to have a garden, then there are things that you can do where you make that whole area absolutely beautiful. Lights, plants, flowers, tubs, you eat out there, it happens. You make the area happen. If you're in a flat, then you have
Yeah,
a
that's
bit more,
different. Yeah. Yeah.
and it's different. It's more of a challenge. I suggest people check in my book because I go into this in great
Yes.
detail. You put a mirror on the wall that is where the blank would
Extending.
be
Yeah.
behind, and that brings that space in. You have to be very careful about this because every year there is a direction where negative energies are considered to come in. If you put a mirror in that sector, never mind you're correcting for romance, it won't work. You'll get the opposite effect. So it's important to know that. So you can check that where that direction is. It's this year, I'll tell everyone, it's west. You need round metal there, and that disperses it. I always publish this information on my website. This is free information. It's there. You can double check it if you're more interested in the other stuff I'm talking about in the webinar. But if you have that space missing, you do need to make a change there, and that will make a big difference.
Okay.
So what I always say to people, so they ask me, well, how will I know it's working? Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so how will I know? So the first thing I do is I get people to employ a strategy. There is a strategy that always works to find a partner.
Okay,
Apparently,
cool.
would you like me to go into that now,
Yes,
Anna?
please. Yes.
Okay,
People will
so
be very interested about these things.
okay, so this works, and some of my clients fall over backwards when I tell them this. So one of the first things is you need 3 search methods. Now, this applies whether you're male or female. If you're over the age of 25, you are not necessarily going to have what we call the cute meet in the movies. In other words, you bump into someone in the supermarket.
Doesn't work.
That's lovely and it happens, but this is not a way to plan your future, right? So you need 3 forms of search. The first form is called a volume search. So volume
Volume.
search
Okay.
can be internet, it can be a matchmaker, but definitely you're meeting a lot of people. It could be a singles club. You
Okay.
could go to singles events. There's no reason why not. They're in most major towns and cities in the
Oh
West,
yeah,
they're
they
all,
have. They have. Yeah.
yeah. But it's called a volume search because you need to go on 3 dates a week. Now, I'm going to
3
talk
days.
about
It's a
3
lot.
dates a week. That's when my clients fall over and they go, oh my God, right? 3 dates means it can be a coffee. First date is an hour and a half. And the purpose of the date is to find out whether you would even like to go on a second date.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the purpose of the first date. But you need to have 3 a week. Okay.
Yeah.
You need to be going out 3 times a week to places where you can meet other single people. So often it's nice to do that with a girlfriend, or for a man that they go out with another friend. That's nice to do. The second form of searching is your hobbies. So you look at what hobbies you have where you will naturally meet other single people. Sports are great, golf, tennis, if you're much older, bowls, anything else that will get you out there meeting people, and you go regularly. The other one, which is not employed very often, is you tell your friends and your family that you're looking, and that if they want to suggest someone contacts you, you are open to a meeting. Now, the reason your friends and family aren't already doing this is they are absolutely terrified that they are going to set you up with someone and you come back and you go, oh my God, that was the worst evening I have ever had in my life. And if you're a friend, you never speak to them again, or it seriously ruptures your friendship. And if you're family, it makes sort of waves that you really don't need. So that's why more people don't do it. So unless you state that specifically, people aren't going to do that. So in terms of in terms of knowing when it's working, if you have been on no dates in the past year and you go on, let's say you go on 3 dates within the next 2 weeks, that means you're going in the right direction. Things are happening,
Things are
things
moving.
are moving. Okay, so you talked about communication, Anna. So one of the other things that's really important that people often are unaware of is love languages. Now,
I
what do
see.
I mean
Yeah.
by that? So there are ways when you're in a couple relationship that you have evidence that your partner loves you. Now, I hope I'm going to remember all the 5. Some of them are obvious. The thing is, everybody doesn't have the same language. So if physical touch and acts of service are important to you, but to your partner, acts of service don't mean anything. You'll be doing things for them, but they kind of don't really notice it. And they don't really care because their evidence is different. So what are these? So I'm going to see if I can remember them now. Physical touch is obvious. You're physically affectionate. You put your arm around someone, you hold someone's hand, you kiss, you cuddle. All of this, physical touch. The next one is acts of service. This is someone does things for you. They put up your curtains. They fix your car. They make little audio tapes for you, or audio files that you can play in your car. They do little nice things for you. And that's great. I have to say, I really like acts of service. The other one is gifts. Now and again, some people give gifts. Other people, it kind of, doesn't really matter. But for some people, that is their evidence.
Mm.
The other one is quality time. So this can be difficult if you're away from your partner a lot. Can be really difficult to understand that they actually care about you. Now that's 4. I'm going to see if I can get the 5th. Physical touch, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and words of encouragement.
I think that's important as well.
Words of encouragement. Someone who tells you that it's important, or that they love you. They can say what you've done is really important and this, that, and the other. Some people don't need to hear, I love you. But if your partner is one of those who needs to hear that, and that's their proof, it's important you know that so that you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
You'll have 2. All of these are very nice, but everyone has 2 that are really important. And if you know what those 2 are, you can communicate those to your partner, and they'll come back to you, and it's great. They know you love them. That's their proof.
So
Go
that's
on.
quite good then. The 5 one, is it first of all, there is gifts, what you mentioned. What's the other
Words of
one?
encouragement.
Words of encouragement.
Quality time.
Quality time. Yeah, you mentioned 2 at least, right? Like, people will have 2 that for them
They'll
it's
have
actually
2 that are important. There's a book about this written by a man called Greg Chapman, and it's called The 5 Languages of Love. And it really makes a big difference. I would, I always refer my clients to this because I think it's so important. Once you've met someone that you think things could really work out with, you need to let them know what's important to you and find out from them what's important to them, because you may be doing stuff they really don't care about.
That's right.
And you could be doing something that is far more important to them, and
you didn't know.
Yeah, it's need to know.
Okay, because I was thinking, like, for example, this one is the strategy. So in romantic, if you want to find a long-term relationship, you need to employ the strategies you've mentioned. Of course, if you're in a relationship, then you'll use the 5 things as well that
Yes, you
you
use the
mentioned.
language.
So basically, you also need to have strategy, and at the same time look at how Feng Shui can help your
Yes,
romantic relationship
yes.
as well. So it's not only one bit. You also need to do some work behind it.
You need to do some work, because Feng Shui, remember, is 33.33%.
Yes, that's right.
So you need to add the strategy in. And if you add the strategy, then you'll find it kind of, things happen. People, when they do both, they get great results, which is lovely. I love
Which
to
is
hear
what you
about
want.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. I guess, like, one of my second to the last question that I'll be asking is, in terms of Feng Shui, because we mentioned love language, how do you reignite the passion in long-term relationship?
Okay, right. Now, then this is about the bedroom. Okay.
Well, yes.
You want to make, so you need to imagine you were single again, and you want to make it attractive to someone to come in. Now, for single people, single guys, what I'll tell them is you don't put weapons over the bed. I've had men say, is it all right if I put a sword over the bed? And I go, no,
No.
it's not. It's not. You want to make your bedroom inviting. So a lot of people have very pristine white sheets. No, go for a riot of color.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Candles, smells, low lighting, make it a place that it feels relaxing and it feels like it's a romantic space. Most people, in most rooms, you've got an overhead light. Usually people have bedside lights as well. There's no reason why you couldn't start just using the bedside
Bedside
lights.
light. Yeah.
If you're worried about setting fire to things, there are electronic candles you can get, electronic tea lights, and you can use lots of them. You can make it, especially also if you make your living room, you dim the lighting. This is a sort of thing that really makes a difference. And you wear something inviting.
Okay.
So everyone knows what their partner likes.
Yes.
It's not a secret.
Especially if you're in a long-term relationship, of course you would know.
Yes, of course. Of course you know. Of course you know. So I'm just going to make sure my battery doesn't run out here. Hang on. Yeah, so of course you know. So make sure you wear the clothes and make sure you slightly flirt, because you can forget to flirt. But the main thing is, if you set, in terms of feng shui, you want to set the scene. So you want exciting stuff on the bed, something that's
Not a
colorful.
sword.
Not a sword. You don't need swords in the background. Also, if some people, I mean, I'm not a great fan of this, but some people like satin sheets. That's something that's
They like that.
nice. The thing is also, you can offer to do things. Some people watch TV in bed, and it depends what you watch, again, as to whether it puts you in the mood or not. Certainly you can have background music that at least will certainly stir
The
the
mood, yeah,
memory
of course.
good
Yeah.
times, which will create a mood. You can use all these things, and not just in the bedroom, in the living room as well. But I think the main thing is to have a time when your partner is going to be relaxed and it's easy to have a romantic time together. There's nothing else, that's it. You agree, maybe it's Friday night. We don't talk about work. That's
it.
we don't mention work at all until maybe Saturday, and maybe even not till Monday, just that's how it is. You can really create a mood. And certainly I think that's why people recommend date nights for married couples. So
Yeah.
at least you can go out, especially if you have children, because you need some time on your own. And while we're on the subject, if we're talking about married couples, in your bedroom, you want artwork and pictures of couples and of yourselves, pictures of the children and you as a family outside the bedroom. And also, this is just practical. A lock on the door, if you've got children, is often a very good idea.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's it can be a good idea. It means you're not expecting to be suddenly surprised. That's
Yeah.
the main thing. The
That's the main
atmosphere,
thing.
yes, relaxed and calm, and that you can just unwind, and that can just allow you to feel much more romantic, much more
Yeah.
in the mood for romance.
Cool. Wow. That's a lot of things to think about, Suzanne.
Well,
Thank you for that.
they're all fun things.
Yeah, they're all fun things. So I think my last question is, how do people connect with you? Because I know you do this all the time. This is your work. How would they contact you? How would they connect with you? And if they need a bit of help as well?
Well, text me, phone me, email me. All of these are fine. however you contact me, text is always quicker. I can always
Yeah.
respond faster to a text. So if you want a quick response, please do text, but certainly phone or email is fine.
You mentioned your book as well. What's the title of the book? I'll put it in the link as well.
Okay, the title of the book is Feng Shui for You.
Okay,
And
cool.
I wrote it for beginners who have no previous knowledge of the subject. And I've written it in such a way that you can't make a mistake, because believe me, all beginners make mistakes. I was
Mm.
one of them, and I made some real lulus of mistakes. So
Oh, okay.
I've written it so that you can't make a mistake. If you follow what's in the book, hopefully you'll get some really good results and that you're really happy with. And when you do, please let me know. Please email
Yes.
me. I like to hear good news. I really, really
That's
do.
in my list to read actually, because I'm gonna get one. I have a lot of reading to do, but I need to do it anyway. But yeah, cool. Thank you so much, Suzanne, for today. And it's really great for becoming a guest here. So everyone, that's it for today. Um, if you like this episode, do subscribe, share, like everything, and come back again in the next 2 weeks. Thank you. Bye.